Join now with Toronto Maple Leafs coaching development associate TJ Millar. How did you get involved in hockey, TJ?
Well, I don't mean to sound cliche like everybody, but I grew up around it, being from Calgary, surrounded by rinks and obviously being in the cold. I was pretty fortunate that I had a pretty strong hockey background and support system my whole life with my father being the president of Hockey Calgary at one point in time. And it was a game that I immediately fell in love with and obviously couldn't get enough of. And I just being on the rink when I was a really young guy, going through minor hockey and just enjoying every second of it. And I've been extremely fortunate to continue to be a part of the game for sure, but just getting involved right from, I think I might have been 3 or 4 when I started getting on the ice. So it's been a lifetime of fun for me.
It has been a lifetime. That's no joke. For lots of people, they kind of drift away from the game once they get to college. But TJ, you played minor hockey growing up, and then you actually got to go over to Finland, to the University of Finland, and specialized in hockey coaching. So what was that experience like from going from Calgary to Finland for university, and why did you choose to go?
A lot of decision making went into that, but it was pretty simple as it was. There was an opportunity for me to invest in myself in taking hockey to the next level. I had realized that I had a strong passion for the game, that I wanted to stay involved in it, and I did recognize that my playing ability wasn't going to allow me to play forever. So I looked to some alternative opportunities for myself, and I had been working with Hockey Canada at that time and assisting with their summer development camps with their youth programs. And coaching really stuck out to me. It was something that I felt as though I could bring the same energy every single day, really enjoying and trying to share my love for the game. And this opportunity came to learn the more ins and outs and the disciplines of coaching within the Viramäki Institute in Finland, and I was all in. I was a young guy, so it allowed me to grow as a person. I was 18 going on 19 years old, moving across the world to go to university. It was a wide eye moment for myself, going across the world where English wasn't the first language. I was going by myself, so I had to, I was going to university in a residence in a dorm, so I had to learn how to cook meals for myself. I had to learn how to fend for myself. I grew up a lot, and I grew up really quickly, but the opportunities in Viramäki were second to none. The resources they had with the national team programs that they had there, the seminars and the speakers that came in to teach the little intricacies that are within coaching in itself, and the life skills that came along the way by traveling and being over there and being surrounded by the Finnish people was an excellent decision to me, and one of the best decisions I made in my life.
Yeah, most of us, we grow up and graduate and go to college 3 hours down the road, and we think we have to grow up, and here you are moving across the world, literally.
Yeah.
And the opportunities, though, like you said, are endless. And it really did set you up for what was next to come in your career. But was coaching something that you had always been passionate about? Like, once you realized that you could bring that energy to the ice the same way and to the game the same way, or did it take a little while for you to actually catch on?
I always knew that I wanted to stay involved in hockey, and in whatever capacity would allow me to stay a part of it, I was more than ready. When I first went to university in Finland, I originally thought that scouting and recruiting was an avenue that I wanted to explore. But I feel as though I really bonded with being on the ice and taking a part in players' development, and just that whole camaraderie scene that hockey does have, and the inclusion component of it all, being a part of something great, which is having fun on the ice, developing, creating success on and off the ice, excuse me. But it just kind of fell into place, and I realized that it was something that I was truly passionate about. And one thing led to another, and I still get to be doing it. So I think things fell into place as they were meant to be for me, and I'm just truly grateful.
Yeah, exactly. So you went to Finland, you're now in Toronto, but you had a couple stops along the way. Do you want to talk about your career thus far and how you got to where you're at?
Yeah, so when I finished my 2 years in Viramacky, it was time to embark in the real world, another journey inside of my life. So when I came back to North America to continue coaching, I was the video coach of the Tri-City Americans in the Western Hockey League, which was a tremendous experience for me to get my foot in the door and get a new component in coaching, which is video. And you see how technologically advanced the sport has become, where, there's replays, there's some significant breakdowns aside of the game. I had the lead role with that with the Americans, and it was great for me to learn the finer details, at least at the major junior level, and so forth, and working with those athletes who were getting drafted to the National Hockey League, and those young players that were moving a far away from home, and then they're going through the same processes that I did a few years before when I went to Finland. So that was a great opportunity for me to get my first knack at coaching and great experience down there. Moving forward from my time with Tri-City, I spent 2 seasons with the Nipawin Hawks in the Saskatchewan Junior League, transitioning into an assistant coaching role. Again, a tremendous opportunity, a couple seasons of great success where we inevitably won the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League Championship in 2018. In a season that was, very, very memorable in a sense. We were the team that were playing the Humboldt Broncos in the tragic bus crash on April 6th. So a very tragic event. It was a moment I never wish to ever happen to anybody again. And it was a season that I'll never forget for sure. And upon departing Nipawin, I was in Bonnyville with the Bonnyville Pontiacs in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. I was there for 3 seasons. And this last season, as we talked before we aired this interview, was a whirlwind in my 3rd year, because I was gearing up and getting ready to go to training camp. We were starting the very next day, and before I knew it, I had a phone call and I was heading out to Toronto. So now I find myself here working for the Maple Leaf organization, and the last 8 years have absolutely flown by. I can't believe it's been 8 years of coaching to this point. But again, as I've mentioned, I think 5 or 6 times, just feel so lucky to be a part of this great game.
Yeah, it's true what they say. Everything in hockey, it's a long process to get there, and then things happen and you're there, and things happen quickly after that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So can you tell us about your current role with the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, so the coaching development program is served as a mentorship opportunity for myself as a coach to spend time with all 3 teams inside the Maple Leaf organization. We have the Newfoundland Growlers in the ECHL, the Toronto Marlies in the American Hockey League, and obviously the Toronto Maple Leafs. I get a great opportunity to work closely with each staff with on-ice and off-ice responsibilities, with a lot of video work, a lot of time spent underneath each coach with any type of responsibilities that they might require of me. And to give you an example as to some of the things that I've done up until this point, I was fortunate enough to go down to Newfoundland, spend some time with the Growlers, and be on the bench for the first 4 games of the regular season. It was an unbelievable experience, my first taste of pro hockey, being in an assistant coaching role, working with professional hockey players as far as running practices and co-hosting meetings with the teams, and then transitioning into a supporting role with both the Marlies and the Maple Leafs, and being the eye in the sky, breaking down video and pre-scouting opponents. And it's been great. It's been, when you get into a position like this, I didn't really know exactly what I was getting myself into. Mentorship opportunities, 3 teams. It's consisted of unbelievable moments and opportunities, and really seeing what it takes at this next level. And for me as a coach, it's been a significant amount of growth and just trying to enjoy every second that I can. And one of the other things that I can really talk about within my role is just really an opportunity to shed light on just what's important in hockey, which is the team mentality and supporting the individual throughout all these times. I find myself in a great opportunity here, working with players that are transitioning through multiple teams by way of call-ups and reassignments. And it's been a great opportunity for me to learn from those players, no different than they might be able to learn something from me.
Yeah, getting to work with 3 different teams like that, like you have your ECHL, your AHL, and then you have your NHL. And you talk about learning from them as much as they're learning from you. But do you find that at every level, it's a little bit different mentality what they have to go through? Because each person is kind of striving to get to the next step, but then they get to the NHL and like now they're just trying to stay there. Like, have you noticed anything like that? Or
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting question, and something that I have, when I look at the players that I get to work with every day, I notice they have that continual focus to get better every single day, whether they're the top of their game in the NHL or they're just, they're earning their stripes, they're making their immediate impact as a first-year player in the ECHL. They're all trying to, forge their own journey in the sport. And it's something that I have recognized. And when I look back on my time with players and just trying to ensure that, they're working hard, they're enjoying what they're doing. And that's no different than what you see at this level. You see players that are now making a living, being able to do what they do. And it's just, it's great.
yeah, really neat opportunities to learn about the game and as a whole and at so many different levels. The experience you're getting is absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, the MLSE Manager and Coaching Development Program was developed in line with its commitment to advance diversity and inclusion. In your opinion, how important is this commitment to support the initiative that hockey is for everyone?
It's incredibly important, and I have always, from day one, had a significant amount of respect and pride within this program, and a lot of respect for the Maple Leaf organization in creating these opportunities for people of color or those of minority backgrounds, because this game is deserving, or everyone is deserving to be a part of this game or to feel the impact that this game can have on people in a positive way. The feeling that you get being a part of a team accomplishing tremendous things through growth, through bonding as individuals and bonding as a team, it's truly something that is special. And I think that's a big reason as to why someone like myself is so passionate about this game. But the game needs to be amassed by everybody. Everybody needs to be involved, and everyone is welcome to be involved. And that's just kind of the dialogue that needs to take place and needs to be consistent, because this is a truly special sport that we have. And we want to make sure that it's being outreach to everybody that can be a part of it.
Yeah, and I think as we talk about the ECHL and the AHL and the NHL and just the initiatives that are coming out of the leagues right now, and unfortunately the situations that have arose too in recent weeks. And as a person of color, have you ever experienced any adversity or racism growing up playing hockey in Calgary or during your career so far?
I have, yes. Unfortunately, and to be real and honest within this conversation, it's something that I personally have dealt with at every level. It's something that when you reflect, it might be due to people potentially being uncomfortable. I don't always want to feel as though people are coming from a position of hate or not wanting you around, but yes, it has been there for me growing up. But after, like I mentioned before, reflecting and thinking back on the life that I have lived and the journey that I've been a part of, it's just a constant reminder for me to, as we mentioned about the sport being for everybody, to continue along my path and contribute to the change in the game, which is being more inclusive to those and giving everyone an opportunity to be a part of it. There's no room for it. It should never be a thought. It should just be, okay, here's a sport that everybody loves and gets to play. And with it being so ingrained in the Canadian culture, or even worldwide for that matter, it's something that should be eradicated. But at all levels, it has happened to me. And I think it has inevitably made me stronger as a person, and through thick skin as well, it's allowed me to overcome some adversities in my personal life and in my playing and coaching career. It just gives you a reminder that you're doing something great, because what you might be doing today might help somebody tomorrow, and that's what matters most to me.
Yeah, and as you started off, it is important to be real and honest when we have these conversations. talking to Turner McIntyre, I just talked to him. He's a 16-year-old who just was drafted to the Bantam or to the WHL draft to Winnipeg, and he was playing U12 and experienced it. There's guys older than both of us who have experienced it and continue to experience it in the game. And so I think it's really important that we're shedding light on this conversation, and that you are continuing to continue to keep going in your career and pushing the boundaries and pushing those kinds of conversations that are those negative conversations and incidents, pushing those boundaries and continue to keep going. But February is Black History Month. How important is the conversation that this month generates, not just in hockey, but in society?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important. I think, it doesn't only have to be restricted to a month. I think it's a conversation that can be had consistently and constantly. And it's a matter of recognizing the diverse world that we live in and how beautiful it can be. But I do believe that this next month is important. And when we look at the current events that have taken place inside the game of hockey, we recognize that we have a long way to go. And it can be rather frustrating at times, because when you see progress happening, sometimes it feels like you might take a couple of steps backward when incidents like these occur. But as we go into the next few weeks and in February, it's important to remember that we need to continue to have these dialogues, or push the needle, as I say, and potentially having uncomfortable conversations. But by having these uncomfortable conversations, all it's doing is growing people. It's sharing insight, it's sharing opinion, it's sharing beliefs and values, and perhaps learning something that you might not know about somebody or a potential group. And again, working on unifying everybody to create that equality that everybody in society or sport are equally trying to accomplish. And I see the growth, I see the potential, and I see the opportunities that we can have. And I just want to make sure that we as a society want to make sure that we're all doing our part in doing what is right, having those conversations and allowing people to grow.
Yeah, and coinciding having the conversations, how important do you think visibility is?
It's visibility is everything. It's something that when I embarked on this opportunity with the Maple Leafs, I made a note to say that I may not, make a massive impact coaching, and we could recognize that. But one of the things I really wanted to do was I wanted to be a voice. I wanted to be a vision. I wanted to be something that somebody looked at and said, hey, if it's a younger kid that is growing up, wants to get involved in hockey, wants to get into coaching, but might feel inferior, maybe because of the color of their skin or the group they belong to, they look at someone like me and they say, okay, this could happen. This can happen. It has happened, or it's happening. It's that visual that really takes it home. And I think the Maple Leafs have done a really great job by bringing in Marion and myself, and again, continuing to push the needle, to have those conversations, to bring people to the forefront and just show that this sport needs an overhaul, needs a change, needs inclusion, and they're doing exactly that. And I'm incredibly thankful for that.
Yeah, that the Maple Leafs, the association itself, has done an amazing job with diversity and inclusion in their commitment to making a change in hockey. And I think that you touched on it a little bit, but that you wanted to be someone who a kid could look up to and say, TJ's doing it, that I can do this, and I can be a part of this game. So what would you say to that kid who's watching your career and your story unfold?
If I could say anything, and I don't ever be discouraged. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. If you believe in what you're doing, if you believe in accomplishing great things, and you do what's right and you're a great person, anything can and will happen for you if you work towards it. And it's don't ever give up. And it's I wish I could say more, but really when I look back on my life, it's really stay the course, trust everything that's happening to you, learn from your experiences, but most importantly, go after what you want and stay the course.
That's fantastic advice. And I think any kid watching or listening should take that to heart and stay the course. TJ, you bring so much passion and so much energy to your role, and I absolutely love talking to you about this. But lastly, here at Hockey Alberta, we strongly support the idea of hockey for life. What does that phrase mean to you?
Well, for me, when I look at hockey, I always go back to what the game has given for me or given to me. The game has given me an opportunity to create relationships that have and will last a lifetime. They've given me memories that I will never forget. They've given me the opportunity to learn from people. And when I always say that it's always important to give back what you've been given. So when I say hockey is for life, it's important to always recognize where you came from and what you can do to continue that story, and just make sure that, if you're not playing, maybe you give back to the community by way of coaching or helping out or volunteering your time, or just reaching out to an old teammate and just saying, hey, remember when we played in that tournament in Airdrie, or for example, when I was with the Alberta Winter Games with the U12 prospects, and it's one of the greatest memories of my life. And I might be able to call up my old head coach and say, hey, remember a few years ago when we won the gold medal? Like, wow, wasn't that great? And we can just, hockey is such a unifying sport, and it's truly incredible to be a part of. And when we think about hockey is for life, it's the messaging, the feeling, the experiences that the sport leaves you with that truly are special. And whether you're playing, coaching, or just a fan, the game leaves a unique impact on every individual. And it's something that, as the quote has said, it's for life.